Hi guys, I'm Lexmo and welcome back to my series where I talk about how the Pokemon Sun Moon anime would have been if it were a traveling series. Now this is part 2, so go watch part 1 if you haven't, and if you have watched part 1, I'm going to get right into the video right now. I do want to start off with a recap just because the last episode came out a couple weeks ago, so you might have forgotten. So first up is our protagonist, Elio. His goal is to take on all of the Grand Trials. He currently has a Litten and a Z Crystal. However, he does not have a Z Ring yet, so he cannot use his Z moves yet. The next character to go over is Serena, and she does not have a goal yet. She's going to be finding that throughout the series, and currently her only Pokemon is her Poplio. And finally, we have Zazie. She is gathering data on Ultra Aura for the Ultra Recon Squad, and she is traveling with our group now so that she can research all of the totem Pokemon that Elio comes across. Alright, so the last part ended with our 3 protagonists at the observatory, and they are now leaving, and they're going to be traversing through a couple of routes. Nothing super important happens here. There might be like some filler episodes, but nothing of note, so I'm just kind of skipping over them. Our protagonists then reach the base of Mount Lanakila around the area of Tapu Village, and they find a bunch of wild Sandslash. They're all having fun, but one of the Sandslash really likes battling and is challenging the other Sandslashes to battles. But the other Sandslash don't really like battles and aren't really big fans of the other Sandslash. So our group approaches this Sandslash, and Elio realizes it has a lot of potential, so he challenges it to a battle and decides he wants to catch it. It's a somewhat close fight, but Litten is able to win. Elio throws a Pokeball and catches his first Pokemon. The group continues traveling and makes their way to the Black Sand Beach on Ula Ula Island, where they find a Sandygast who is kind of making a commotion on the beach, and it challenges Elio to a battle, so he calls out his Litten, and Litten ends up learning Bite, which is super effective, and he pretty easily wins the battle. And this is when a giant totem-sized black Palossand appears, and this is a totem Pokemon. Zazie starts to freak out since she loves researching totem Pokemon. She starts taking research of its aura, taking all these readings, and Poipole goes to play with it, but the Palossand uses a ground attack and knocks Poipole out. It's very strong. Elio continues to battle with Litten, but since it does have a type disadvantage, it is taken out pretty quickly, although it is able to land a couple super effective bite attacks. This is when his Sandshrew is able to get its first battle. It has moves like Ice Ball and Powder Snow and is able to do some serious damage to the Palossand and eventually takes it out. This earns Elio a Ghost Z Crystal and his second Z Crystal at that, although he still does not have a Z Ring, so he cannot use this Z move yet, although not that any of his Pokemon know Ghost type moves either. Then there's going to be a filler episode where our group goes on the water route and does some Mantine surfing to get to their next destination. And then our group arrives at the Ula Ula Flower Meadow, and this is where Serena meets an Oricorio, and she really likes the way it dances, so she decides it's gonna be her first catch. Now, she's not amazing at battles, and she's not the biggest fan of them, but she knows to catch a Pokemon, she does need to battle it. She sends out Poplio and uses Bubble to weaken it, and then throws a Pokeball and makes her first catch. She caught an Oricorio, and she doesn't really have a goal yet, so she doesn't know what she's going to do with it, but she knows that she really likes the way it dances. Once they're done with the flower field, they reach the police station on Ula Ula Island, and that is where they run into Nanu, and Elio shows Nanu his 2 Z Crystals. He tells Nanu that he had finished 2 of his trials, and he requests a grand trial. So Nanu decides that he'll accept it because Elio did the requirements, but Nanu's not willing to do a fair fight. Nanu is able to use his Z Crystal, but Elio doesn't have a Z Ring. So it's gonna be a 2v2, but Elio's at a disadvantage because he doesn't have a Z Ring. So Elio goes into the fight knowing that, but he's still gonna try his best. Alright, so Nanu starts by sending out his Murkrow and Elio sends out his Sandshrew. They have a pretty close battle, but Sandshrew comes out on top, leading Nanu to bring out his Persian. Persian is his ace and his strongest Pokemon, and after a somewhat close battle, Persian pretty easily knocks out Sandshrew. It's then time for Litten to come out and battle Persian, and Persian is a much stronger Pokemon than Litten. Now Litten is trying its best, it's using all of its attacks, but it's not doing that much damage. Nano decides he wants to get the battle over with, and he takes out his Dark Z Crystal and uses Black Hole Eclipse, and basically a black hole comes out and starts trying to grab up everything around, and it's about to get Litten. So Elio thinks of a strategy. He tells Litten to use Bite on Persian and not let go. Now Persian is trying to get Litten off, but Litten keeps biting and will not let go, and when the black hole comes to suck Litten in, it takes Litten, but also Persian, who Litten is holding in its mouth, and both get KO'd by the Black Hole Eclipse. Nanu claims that he was outsmarted, and Elio was able to fight and use Nanu's Z-move against him. Even though Elio was at a disadvantage without his Z-move, he was still able to use Nanu's Z-move to win. So Nanu gives him a Dark Z-Crystal and a Z-Ring. Elio is finally able to use Z-moves. Elio thanks Nanu and decides that he's gonna leave and go on to his next island, so he starts walking away from the police station. And right about then, there is a giant crash heard coming from the Lake of the Moon, and Elio and his friends rush over since they're near it. This is their first time at the Lake of the Moon, and they've never seen it before. Suddenly, a giant wormhole erupts out of nowhere, and a Nihilego appears. Now, Zazie has done a lot of research on Ultra Beast and knows what this Ultra Beast is capable of doing. She warns her friends that it can really hurt them and they need to take it out. So everyone sends out their Pokemon and prepares to battle. Nihilego continues attacking and it takes out Sandshrew, Poipole, Oricorio, and Popplio. The only one left is Litten. Elio knows what he has to do. He puts the Dark Z Crystal into his brand new Z-Ring and starts using a Dark Hole Eclipse of his own. He learned the poses from Nanu, and he attacks Nihilego and sends it back through its Ultra Wormhole. Litten was able to pull it off and save everyone from the Nihilego. Zazie starts to tell everyone that she did some readings and analyzing on the data from that Ultra Wormhole, and she realizes something with the signature of the wormhole. Normally wormholes just kind of randomly open up, but this wormhole was purposely created. Someone somewhere in the multiverse purposely sent that Nihilego to Alola. She doesn't know who, and she doesn't know from where, but she knows that there's a threat. Elio and Celine are scared, but Zazie tells them not to worry, that since Zazie knows so much about Ultra Beasts, she'll make sure to keep them safe no matter what. After that, our protagonists are finally done with everything on Ula Ula and make their way to Akala Island, and that's going to be what next part is all about. And now I know this part was kind of short, but I didn't want to start the Akala stuff yet, so I just wanted to finish up the Ula Ula Island stuff. So the next part will be coming out relatively soon. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 3.